Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. In this episode we are going to talk about the future perfect, okay? So again, future perfect is a very important grammar lesson for all English learners in general and particularly for baccalaureate students in Morocco, okay? So before we start our lesson, now let's look at this very simple timeline, okay? Now here, as you can see, right? So we have Monday, okay? And Monday is today, right? So Monday is today, okay? And we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and these is related to the future. Okay, so this is the future, okay? All right. And today is Monday, so yesterday is Sunday, and this is related to the past, all right? So this has to do with the past. So Monday is today, so today is very simply the present, okay? Is the present, okay? All right, so in this episode, we are going to focus more and more on the future, okay? So we will be talking about the future, right? Okay, so before we start, the lesson, future perfect, look at this very easy, straightforward example, right? Next Friday, I will read a story, okay? So as you can see here, we have will and plus infinitive, okay? Will plus infinitive, okay? Next Friday, I will read a story, okay? I will read a story. This actually is the future, okay? The future simple, okay? The future simple, okay? And the future simple is often expressed with, as you can see, will plus infinitive, okay? Will, okay, plus infinitive. If it is negative, we can say I won't read a story, okay? So this is very essential to know. So this is actually the future simple. So now here, let's look at the time expression. So here we have next, okay, Friday, okay, the time expression next Friday. Now here, let's just try to understand it as far as this timeline is concerned. So next Friday, so this is Friday, okay, next Friday, I will read a story. So here, this indicates very simply, we can say the beginning. It indicates the beginning. So it indicates the beginning of, or the start of the action. Okay, so this is the start of action. So the action, reading story, will start on Friday, next Friday, right? So this is for future simple, okay, future simple. This is just one example of, okay, time expression. We can say tomorrow, we can say next week, next month, next year, in 20, for example, 20, etc., etc. So these are some expressions that we can use with the future simple. Just to remember the form, will plus infinitive, or we can also say want, okay, when it is the negative, want plus infinitive when it is the negative. For example, here we can say next Friday, I won't read a story. This is for future simple. And as I said, future simple is the prerequisite for understanding the future perfect. Now, let's see this example, this action, but in future perfect. What are we going to say? So very simply, we are not going to say next Friday. We are going to say by next Friday, I will have read a story. Now look at it. Here is it. By next Friday, I will have read a story. So here the expression is not next Friday as in the future simple, but it is by next Friday. By next Friday, I will have read story. So this, if this one shows the beginning, okay, the beginning of an action, this actually, okay, by next Friday is not the beginning, but it shows the, we can say very simply, the end, okay, the end of the action, or we can say better, the deadline, okay, the deadline, all right, the deadline of the action. All right, so here, by next Friday, I will have finished the action, okay, I will have finished reading the story, okay, so it's something that will happen passively here, maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow, maybe I will start, for example, Wednesday, and maybe I will start Thursday, but on Friday, I will have finished, okay, so by next Friday, I will have read the story. So the story will have been read before Friday. So next Friday is the deadline, right? Is the deadline. So this is very easy to remember. Okay, so here, as you can see, alright, the future perfect is always with will, have, and the past participle. Okay, so will, this is the form, will, okay, plus, okay, have, and plus the past participle. Okay, past participle. Very easy to remember. Okay, so this is the form of future perfect. Okay, this is the form. Very essential to remember. If it is negative, for example, we can include, for instance, not. Okay, we can include not. All right, we can include not just right here. Okay, we can include not just right here. And say, for example, I want, for instance, here by next Friday, I won't have read a story, which means maybe I need other days so as to finish reading the story. Okay, so this is for negative. I won't have read, past participle, okay, of read doesn't change in the speeding. Okay, now we can also use it with other expressions. For example, like we can say, okay, by this time, all right, by this time, okay, next Friday, by this time next Friday, okay, by this time next Friday. We can also use it with other expression, like for example, number one. Okay, so this is day number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we can say for, okay, 4 days, okay, 4 days, okay, from now, 4 days from now, okay. And we can also use it with other expression, like for example, by, all right, by, for instance, we can say the end, by the end of this week, okay, by the end of this week, okay, by the end of this week, okay, all right. So this is just, okay, these are just examples, okay, just examples of expression. We can also use it with other expressions, like for example, by, all right, 20, for instance, 20. All right. Now here I wrote these with the green because these are changeable. Okay, you can change them according to the situation. Okay, you can change them according to the situation. Right. For example, here we can say by this time next Friday, by this time next week, by this time next year, etc. Here 4 days from now, we can also say, for example, 2 weeks from now. We can also say 1 week from now, etc., etc. Here, by the end of this week, we can say also by the end of this month, by the end of this year, by the end of 2020, etc., etc. By 2020, by 2022, by 2030, etc., etc. So these are just very easy examples to remember. So these are time expressions. Okay, so we call them, okay, expressions. Okay, so these are expressions that we can use, okay, that we can use with the future perfect, and all of them, all these expressions indicate the deadline of the action, okay, and they indicate the deadline of the action, okay, not like simple, okay, or future simple is always for, okay, indicate the beginning, okay, the beginning of the action. Next Friday I will read the story. So here the action starts, okay, the action start next Friday. But here with future perfect, the action is supposed to finish, is supposed to end by next Friday, okay? So next Friday, as far as this example is concerned, is the deadline, okay? Is the deadline to read the story. Okay, so this is just one example. Now we can take some examples or a very simple exercise, then we do it all together. So here is a very simple exercise. You can pause and try to do it, all right? All right, back again. Okay, so as we have here, okay, now look at number 1. Okay, so let's start with number 1. By the end of 2020, so this is the deadline. Okay, the end of 2020 is the deadline for this action. Okay, the verb finish his studies. Okay, now here what are we going to say? Very simply, we are going to say, okay, all right, so we can say he, okay, the form he will, all right, have, okay, he will have, and the past participle of verb finish is finished, okay, with ed, regular verb, okay, finished, okay, so with ed, so he will have finished his studies, okay, so after 2020 he will have finished, okay, his studies, but before 2020 he will be studying, okay, he will be studying. Now let's look at number 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now. So this is the deadline, 2 weeks from now, in 2 weeks time, okay, in 2 weeks time. All right, the verb write 2 articles. I, so what am I going to say? Okay, okay, very simply, I will have, the past participle of write is very simply written, okay, I will have written, okay, 2 articles. So my deadline for writing 2 articles is 2 weeks from now, okay. Now let's look at number 2. By 2020, okay, by 2020, Tom, the verb get married, okay. So what are we going to say? Tom, okay, Tom will have, okay, will have, the past participle of get is either got or gotten, but better, you can just very simply say got, right? So by 2022, Tom will have got married. So after 2022, Tom will be married, okay, will be married. So these are very easy examples for the future perfect, okay, so just remember these expressions, okay, these ones in green can be changed according to what you want to say, and just remember these expressions always indicate the deadline of a certain action. However, when we talk about the future simple, just like this example, it's always when we want to talk about or mention the beginning of the action, right? Now, just remember, in general, the future perfect form is this, okay? And it's always about the deadline for a certain action, okay? So this is all for today's lesson. I hope you understand. If you have any question, just let me know. You will find some exercises related to this in the description. See you in another episode. Have a good time. Goodbye.